Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Hot as hell, anyway, and I'm sick as fuck. All right, what do we have here? We have three topics. Assassinations not only against Trump, who just survived an assassination attempt yesterday, on Saturday. I made a video a minute ago, I uploaded it, but also on Vladimir Putin. Several assassination attempts occurred against Putin. That comes from the Ukrainian side. Another article, another topic, has to do with how Europe screwed itself and how Europe will be destroyed by Russia because the United States defends Europe. The Russians said that they will target European capitals if the Americans, who are not living in Europe, deploy more weapons in Europe. So Europe is going to be the one in between Russia and United States of America. It seems like these guys are spoken and these guys are the losers. So yeah, the Europeans are the biggest losers, plus Ukraine. But Ukraine is a collateral damage if you can if you can understand that even if the Ukrainians are dying and they're caught in between these big Russians and Americans. The goal is Europe will be enslaved by the Americans or destroyed by the Russians, or at least the Russian threat to destroy Europe will have Europe chained by the Americans because the Americans will help. And the last piece of article or piece of information here is the Russians they occupy or liberate actually two settlements. So let's start with the first piece of news. All right, here is. This comes from DPA International. Kiev spy chief says several attempts made to assassinate Putin. So Budanov says that they tried to kill that guy many times and they couldn't do it yet. They will try to obviously fulfill that Levantine way of dealing with enemies. There have been several attempts to assassinate Russian President Vladimir Putin, according to Military Intelligence Services Kiev Chief Kirill Budanov on Saturday. And I'm quoting, but as you can see, they were unsuccessful, Budanov told New Voice, a Ukrainian website. Budanov had made provocative comments in the past. Budanov further said Putin was no longer a compromised figure. Nevertheless, so they tried to kill Putin and they were unsuccessful so far. Well, we'll see. The same thing that seems to be available for Mr. Budanov coming from the Russians. Let's say the Russians succeed in assassinating Budanov. What's the point? Well, they just instill fear in some, thinking that they will be next and they will maybe try to negotiate. But other than that, everyone is replaceable, let's put it this way. Now, replaceable with a better one, with a worse one. I think the job is as it is, the tasks are the same. So if it's Budanov or Krubenchuk or Lomonosov, they have to do the same thing. The same with Putin. These guys think that if Putin is dead, the Russians will lay down their arms and they say, okay, come and take our country, our culture, our history, our resources, everything we got, because what? Putin is dead? It's so naive. On the contrary, I would say that the Russians will say, give me a weapon, I'm going to London. That's what I think. So next article, and this is such a weasel article. Not the article, but the title. And here it is. Kremlin warns Russia could target Europe if US deploys missile. So I think everything you need to know is in the title. So the Russians could destroy Europe if someone from outside puts missiles over here. Why not Russians destroy US if the US deploys in Europe? That should be the one. Because this is like you have a water hose that's broken in your basement, let's say, and water is pouring in. What do? You go down and you get your squeegees and your towels and your buckets, and that's all you do. Or you go maybe to the main pipe and you squeak, turn it off, the water from the city or wherever you got the water, and then you fix the pipe. So that squeak, the water hose is United States of America. So you can, fix or try to fix things in Europe, which is the basement pipe that is broken, instead of just going to the source and stop it at the source. So that's a big question. Why don't the Russians just name it the way it should be named? Because that's the way it is. Remember that guy that I'm not very fond of, but that's my assessment, and it is General de Gaulle of France, then president. Whenever he was dealing with his European counterparts, he used to say that, remember, Great Britain or England, whatever he was saying, is an island, and the Americans don't live in Europe. It's all you need to understand. So let's go back to this and read a little bit of this. This is one article out of two, and see how these guys are. Look at pictures they put with Peskov. The Kremlin on Saturday warned that the deployment of US missiles in Germany could make European capitals, plural, targets for Russian missiles in a repeat of Cold War-style confrontation. So why capitals when it's going to be deployed in one country? Why not capital? Interesting, don't you think? Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov spoke of a paradox in which, and I'm quoting, Europe is a target for our missiles, our country is a target for US missiles in Europe. You understand? So it goes like this. No, why don't you say no, US? I don't want that, but this is what our leaders want us to go. And I'm quoting, we have enough capacity to contain these missiles, but the potential victims are the capitals of these countries. End quote, he said, speaking to Russian state. All right. And it says, Peskov also hinted that such confrontation could undermine Europe as a whole, in the same way that the Cold War ended with the Soviet Union's collapse and understanding between the big bankers and the guys in control of communism. Europe is coming apart. I'm quoting, Europe is not living its best moment. No. In a different configuration, a repeat of history is inevitable. The White House announced on Wednesday during NATO summit that it would periodically station long-range weapons, including Tomahawk cruise missiles, in Germany from 2026 as a deterrent. Good job. Next. Here is from Ukrainska Pravda. Russia threatens European capitals over U.S. missile deployment. The same. They look what kind of pictures they put with Peskov. But it's not propaganda. They don't want to shape an opinion. No. They're just media outlets. So there's the same thing as the other one. I just like the title as well. Let's go to the next topic, which is from Ukrainska Pravda. Russian forces occupy Urozhanye, Donetsk Oblast, deep state analysis. And I'm going to show you where that is, not on that little map, on the big map. And I'm quoting, the enemy has launched large-scale assault on the northern part of the village this morning, 13th of July. The enemy forces were considerable, and we have information about 2 companies of personnel. Analysis added that the Russians had advanced near the settlements of Oleksandropil, Novoselivka, Parsha, and Makivka. Fighting continues in Zalinya and Klishchivka. So where is this little... this is from the Russians. Russian occupy troops liberate, not occupy. So the other ones are occupying, right? The other ones are liberating, and it's about the same thing. Let's see, where is that little town of Bethlehem? And this is in Donetsk by Zaporozhye Oblast. Here is the border between the two. This is the border between the two, and here is the little town. right here. This is where the Russians are advancing, right here. So in the big scheme of things, so remember, that's the way it is. The Sea of Azov, Bakhmut, Artemovsk, if you want to call that way here, Marinka, Avdiivka, in this area here. So, and I know I had another article that I had yesterday on my little iPad. I saved it, and what they said, the Russians liberated another village, and I want to see if that was the same one or not. And it doesn't seem to be. I think it's the same one because it was from yesterday, but let me just go back here to see what's going on. Nevertheless, go and watch that video I uploaded with Trump assassination attempt. I also placed the video in that one. Well, I can find that, but I think it was the same. No, right here. No, I got another one. So Russians occupy Yevhenivka, Donetsk Oblast, so the same area. This is from Ukrainska Pravda. I knew I had another one. So there's two villages, and in the next video that I will make, I will show you how the situation gets worse in the north. So in the north, according to the Ukrainians claim that in the north, now what they call north, I don't think they call, in the Belarus area, but they call in Kharkov area. The situation is getting worse and worse for the Ukrainians. So thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.